Hey everybody, it's me, Steve Schnee, the CD Junkie. On this episode of CD Junkie, I am presenting my Holy Trinity Challenge for 2023. I am extending this to any VC member or YouTube video maker that wants to enter into this, and I'm also extending it to any of the viewers of these videos who just want to write them in the comments below. You know, I've done this contest before and some people don't quite understand the rules, so I'm going to state the 3 simple rules that go along with the Holy Trinity Challenge. Rule number 1, pick any artist or group that has 5 studio albums or more. Number 2, out of those studio albums released by the artist you have chosen, pick 3 that were released consecutively that you consider their Holy Trinity. If you wanted to turn somebody onto that group, what 3 albums released in a row consecutively would you encourage them to pick up? What are your 3 favorites that were released consecutively? And rule number 3, no live albums, compilations, solo releases, side projects involved. This is all just 3 consecutive studio albums by an artist that you chose that has 5 or more studio releases. One of my favorite examples of this, I actually don't have anything handy by this particular artist, but I will show you some in just a moment. But an example I like to throw out would be XTC. Now with XTC, my Holy Trinity would be Drums and Wires, Black Sea, English Settlement. Those are my 3 favorite XTC albums, and those are the ones that I would recommend everybody to check out before any of the others. Now, other people are obviously going to go much later, include Skylarking and Oranges and Lemons and None Such, things like that. But my Holy Trinity for XTC, Drums and Wires, Black Sea, and English Settlement. Now let's show you some CD examples of Holy Trinities for me. Another group I choose is the Monkees, and I would go with More of the Monkees, Headquarters, and Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn, and Jones. Of course, I love the debut, and I love the Birds, the Bees, and the Monkees, but I have to pick 3 consecutive studio releases, so this is what I choose for the Monkees. Now here's a prime example of one that might be considered a little tricky. We're going to go with Elvis Presley. The first in my Holy Trinity would be from Elvis in Memphis. The second in my Holy Trinity would be Elvis back in Memphis. Now his next album of mostly studio recordings was That's the Way It Is, which is an incredible album, but it does have live recordings and it's a soundtrack. So do I count that? Probably not, because that's going against my own rules. So I'll throw out Elvis Country, which some of these recordings were taken from the same studio sessions as That's the Way It Is. And Elvis is in fine vocal form there. My next example would be the Smiths. We're going to go with the debut album, self-titled, Meat is Murder, The Queen is Dead. A lot of people are going to go like, oh no, you left out Hatful of Hollow. Hatful of Hollow is a compilation, so I cannot include that in my list. I love that album, but I can't include it. I have to stick with studio releases. So we're going to go with The Smiths, Meat is Murder, and The Queen is Dead. More examples. As you can tell in some of my videos, I'm a Split Enz fan, and here is my Holy Trinity for Split Enz. Frenzy, True Colors, and Wayada, or also known as Corroboree. Now, I have to admit that I actually love the album Time and Tide. It's my second favorite album of 1982. But if I were to choose that, then I couldn't include my ultimate favorite Split Enz album, which is Frenzy. So I am choosing Frenzy, True Colors, and Corroboree, also known as Wayada. Madness has had a lot of great albums, but I'm going to have to go with their debut, One Step Beyond, their second album, Absolutely, and their third album, 7, which is actually my favorite Madness album. I'm not saying it's their best. They've got a lot of great releases that came out after that, but that is my Holy Trinity for Madness. Let's go with classic punk band Buzzcocks. We're going to have to go with Another Music in a Different Kitchen, their debut, the second album, Love Bites, and the third album, A Different Kind of Tension, which has one of my favorite album covers of all time. I do love their later stuff, but this is my Buzzcocks Holy Trinity. Now let's do a typical Schnee thing and go obscure with the band Mental as Anything. What a career that these guys had, and such an amazing band. But my Holy Trinity for Mental as Anything is going to be their album Cats and Dogs, Creatures of Leisure, and Fundamental. Such a great band. If you haven't checked them out, I always compare them to Nick Lowe's side of Rockpile meets Squeeze. So if that excites you, definitely check out Mental as Anything. You can find those on CD, and probably here in America, more than likely, you can track them down on vinyl out in the wild. And another 80s band I'm choosing is The Fix. We're going to go with Shuttered Room, Reach the Beach, and Phantoms. Now, is Phantoms my favorite? I actually prefer the album after this called Walkabout, but that would mean that I would have to leave out Shuttered Room. So this is my holy trinity of albums by The Fix. And for one final example that kind of shows you how hard it is to create these sometimes is Crowded House. The self-titled debut with Don't Dream It's Over, absolutely amazing. Temple of Low Men, absolutely amazing. Woodface, absolutely incredible. So, would that be my holy trinity? Well, maybe at this exact moment, not. Because I might actually decide to choose Together Alone and take this away. But then that would mean that, it's difficult. I think that if I wanted to introduce people to Crowded House, I would probably go with these three and leave out Together Alone. But personally, I go back and forth on this. This is really a hard one. But for right now, for this video, it's going to be the self-titled album, Temple of Low Men, and Woodface. And that is how you play the Holy Trinity Challenge. I'd love to see more people do this. If it's not exciting enough for you or fun for you, I totally understand. But some of you viewing this video who don't make videos may just want to add your Holy Trinity in the comments, and I'd love to see those as well. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope to see response videos. If not, like I said, I just appreciate you watching. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, to ring that bell for future notifications. And until the next time, remember me. I'm Steve Schnee, the CD Junkie.